This is the government's week in review for the week ending Friday, September 29th, 2023. I am Chrisanne Mitchell. In the headlines, regularization of public officers to begin in October. Details to this and more after the break.
So you think it's all about sport? Running can save your life. Say you're at the beach, having a good time, and you feel a strong shaking. Run. See the water withdraw an unusual distance from the shore. Run. Hear a strange roar. Run. If you experience any of these warning signs, run to higher ground.
There may not be enough time for an official tsunami warning. Be tsunami smart. Know the natural warning signs. Are you ready?
Visit weready.org, brought to you by SEDIMA and the European Union.
Run.
Welcome back. The government of Grenada has set its sights on developing a hope-centered public service through the regularization of public officers, which will begin in October through to 2025. The vision of a happy, optimistic, productive, and effective public service is one that is shared by the Deacon Mitchell-led administration, and the government is committed to making it a reality. The regularization exercise was officially launched on Wednesday in the presence of representatives from the public sector and unions. In 2013, a structural adjustment influenced a pause in hiring on permanent establishment, which resulted in significant disparities among workers within the service. From a concluded analysis of the workers, approximately 300 workers were acting or on assignment, and 2,000 were engaged in other modes. Permanent Secretary in the Department of Public Administration, Lindonna Hilaire Marshall, explained what the government hopes to achieve by regularization of officers. A regularization strategic framework was developed and approved through the cabinet.
We've wanted to see a more standardized engagements in accordance with the public service regulations. The desired situation we would want to see is where we have officers with security of tenure, the equilibrium between cost and optimal size of the public service. We know that is an issue that we really have to balance because the public service, the government of Grenada, really doesn't have deep pockets. So everything we do, cost implication matters. We wanted to see timely confirmation based on merit. We also wanted to see high morals and productivity levels in the public service because we believe if person security of tenure is realized and the morals are boosted, persons are going to be able to produce more. And certainly, we wanted to see the reform of the pension.
P.S. Marshall, who explained the three phases of the regularization, added that several people were already confirmed in their positions.
The first phase, we would look at persons in acting, temporary, on assignment, and probationary status on the establishment. And as we mentioned, that process has already started. The second phase, which would look at persons holding PSC contract of service, daily paid, and persons holding ministry letters. That phase we trust we would be able to advance through in 2024. And then we're going to be in a position to start looking at the third phase, which would look at people who are holding contracts for service, as well as the Imani trainees.
Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell said the regularization exercise needs partnership to succeed.
I want to start by reiterating the government's commitment to taking on what is undoubtedly a complex and difficult task. It is easy to run away from things that you didn't create. And clearly, we've inherited the situation, and as so ably contextualized by P.S. Marshall, this goes back at the earliest to 2013. This obviously is going to be rolled out over a period of time. There's a lot of work we have to undertake to make this successful. And I'm emphasizing we, because the government, without partnership from the unions, without partnership from the employees who are impacted, without partnership from the public, without partnership from the government as a whole, will not be able to make this a success. I want to emphasize here that the goal is to improve the overall well-being of the workers, not to make it worse, or not to leave it in the current status quo.
The regularization exercise does not cover workers engaged on contracts for service, those associated with projects or third-party engagements. An oversight committee chaired by the Cabinet Secretary, Ms. Carvel-Lett, will advise the strategic direction of the exercise. Grenada and other small island developing states wrapped up their second high-level dialogue on climate change at the Radisson Resort on Friday. Delegates discussed 6 thematic areas, which included strengthening resilience and achieving prosperity in the face of increasing climate change impacts. Delivering the keynote address, Grenada's Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell appealed to his colleagues to engage in creative solution-oriented conversations to ensure that results are found for the climate crisis. Of major concern at meetings of this nature is whether sufficient work is being done to achieve the 1.5 degrees Celsius global target that aims to limit warming by that level to prevent the planet from going through further climate crises. As climate financing remains another major issue, Prime Minister Mitchell said the affected regions are well placed to manage the funds needed.
Show me the money. Give us the money. CARICOM is well placed to manage the trust funds. OASIS is well placed to manage the trust funds. SIDS is well placed to manage the trust fund. No disrespect to our development partners. The trust fund doesn't have to be in Germany. It doesn't have to be in South Korea. It could be with us. And that is what we're asking for. So it's important for us to understand, as challenging and as daunting and sometimes as depressing as this fight may seem, we cannot lose hope. Because to lose hope would essentially be to give up on the next generation of Caribbean islanders who need to live and thrive and prosper on these islands. It is about our fisherfolk. It is about our farmers. It is about our young people who need to continue to have the assurance that their way of life will be preserved.
Grenada's former Minister for Climate Resilience and the Environment, Simon Steele, who now serves as the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change Secretariat based in Germany, also addressed the meeting. He said for substantial progress in the climate change agenda, significant financing is required and the global community needs to find at least $6 trillion to tackle the problem of climate change. Steele warned that if urgent action is not taken to address the global financial framework, critical targets will be missed.
But it's only now, since last year's COP was the implementation COP, where we moved from negotiations to implementation, that we're really starting to realize the gargantuan levels of finance that's required to implement the Paris Agreement, working to the rules that have now been defined, and all of the barriers that exist that prevent us from unlocking that finance. And to give an idea, there's a lot of talk about the $100 billion that is supposed to be delivered this year, per year, for developing countries. The amount that's actually required it's now 6 years, basically, to 2030, where our target is to reduce global emissions by 43%, is $6 trillion. That's what, as a global community, we need to find, and that is just to implement our nationally determined contributions. So, this obviously is not just limited to the financial trust issues we have within our process over areas such as that $100 billion or the doubling of adaptation finance. But without urgent action to reset the global financial framework, we're not going to reach the climate goals that are set for us.
Regional countries will also participate in the United Nations Climate Change Conference that gets underway in Dubai in late November. Climate change advocates of small island developing states say the time has come for member countries to collectively move toward building resilience to promote a safer future for generations to come. Minister for Climate Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy, Honorable Karine James, told delegates at the just concluded Second Caribbean SIDS high-level dialogue on climate change that it is time to set a narrative of action. She challenged the heads of governments and other experts to collectively develop a blueprint for action for small developing states to ensure they can survive the effects of climate change.
We are here today and tomorrow to set a narrative of action, concrete steps, and an urgent clarion call for the heart of leadership in small island developing states. The existential threat of climate change looms large, but so does our collective will to combat it. As we approach COP28 in Expo City, Dubai, let us remember that our unity is our strength. And I would reiterate that. Our unity is our strength. We must speak with one voice, a voice resonant with the urgency that science demands and the empathy that our people deserve. Our discussions over the next 2 days are not academic exercises, but a strategic blueprint for action, a narrative that must move from rhetoric to tangible outcomes. Our agenda is both ambitious and necessary, covering everything from climate finance and renewable energy to resilience and adaptation strategies.
Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Honorable Philip Davis, remains optimistic that all is not lost for the region and SIDS in the fight against climate change. He too called on member countries to work together for the shared purpose and outcomes.
To further the interests of the Caribbean, which are much the same as small island developing states in the Pacific and the Indian Oceans, we must speak as one region, united by clear ideas and a common purpose. We may operate in different geopolitical contexts, but we all lie in the same hurricane alley. We all rely, to a certain extent, on the tourist economy, and we all share common strands of a beautiful island culture that's under threat. Let us use this occasion to marry our voices to make ourselves heard. I pushed for this regular meeting on the UN calendar because I strongly believe that the Caribbean can accomplish anything it sets its mind to. The time has come to double down on our efforts, to tell these developed nations to write the check, as they have kicked the can down the road for far too long. We cannot leave COP28 without the first pledge of funding being identified. This is no minor undertaking. But if they are the big tree, we are the small axe.
The global donors and support community are listening and waiting to assist small island developing states. That's according to UN Climate Change Transparency Director Donald Cooper.
A collective voice of countries who are already designated as special and concentrated actions on what are the top priorities for the region. And the top priority they identified was how to deal with hurricanes, disasters, natural disasters. How do we address them? We need to be able to rebuild if we have a catastrophic hit. We need access immediately to predictable known funding after an event. And we need a mechanism to pay for this, right? And that's how they left it, because that's how it impacted those countries. The global community actually listened to you, and they did every single one of them. They created a catastrophic event insurance. They created a fund, loss and damage, to address your immediate needs. And they put in their decision they want to tax fossil fuels in order to pay for that for specially vulnerable countries only. In other words, least developed countries and small island developing states. I give this example to show you the importance of what you determine is key for you. The world actually listens. This is a high-level meeting at heads of state So if you're not a head of state, everybody else here is simply to help you. They all came simply to help you. So take advantage of us.
This is the Government Week in Review. Still to come, the areas of focus highlighted by government in the throne speech delivered by Governor General, Her Excellency Dame Cecile Lagrenade. Focus areas within various sectors of the economy for development. At the ceremonial opening of the second session of the 11th Parliament, Governor General Her Excellency Dame Cecile Lagrenade outlines government successes for the past year and plans for 2024 and beyond. The throne speech was delivered under the theme Forward into 50, reflecting on our past, solidifying our future. Priority areas include citizen safety and national security, restoring the public service integrity, housing and community development, education, energy transition and environmental sustainability, health and wellness, agriculture, youth empowerment, foreign policy and trade, job creation, and the creative industry, among others.
To further transform the education landscape, my government will prioritize the review and amendment of the Education Act to increase the school leaving age to 18, the implementation of the TVET policy and strategy, the launch of the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC reimbursement program, the student loan scheme, the amendments to the early childhood and special education needs policies, among other areas. In this session of Parliament, my government will continue to emphasize transformative strategies for youth empowerment, including in the area of youth engagement, education and skills development, digital literacy, culture and creative industries, employment and entrepreneurship support. The focus of this session of Parliament will be to further strengthen human resource capacity and primary healthcare systems and advance the new hospital and health insurance projects. Our focus in this session of Parliament will be on consolidating these gains, including accelerating the implementation of the Food Security Enhancement Project to provide direct benefits to farmers and fisher folk, and by extension, our nation. My government will establish 3 animal breeding centers at Laura St. David, Maribor St. Andrew, and Limlair carriacou. Additional cold storage facilities, commercial ice machines, and training in safety at sea will be provided to our fisherfolk. My government reaffirms its commitment to the development of a robust ICT and digital economy to keep Grenada abreast with the rest of the region and indeed the world in the conduct and ease of doing business. To this end, significant progress has already been made in advancing this agenda. Looking ahead, my government will continue to invest heavily in building a robust digital economy, focusing on data protection and cybersecurity, education and training, digital inclusion, e-government, and job creation.
Government has confirmed the purchase of 83.9 acres of land in Calavini, St. George, which will be the site for the construction and operation of Grenada's Climate Smart new teaching hospital project. The announcement was made during the ceremonial state opening of the second session of the 11th Parliament on Tuesday by Governor General Dame Cecile Lagrenade. Minister for Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs, Senator the Honorable Jonathan Lacrette, is hopeful that the first phase of the project will begin by the year 2027.
Whenever you're talking about health sector modernization, you have to talk about a brand new climate smart, climate resilient teaching hospital, especially as it relates to the improvement of services in the clinical industry. So I believe that we are in the final stages of negotiations and thereafter payment so that we can move forward with our plans. I believe that the country will see at least the construction of the first phase during this term of the brand new climate smart, climate resilient hospitals.
He notes that this shows government's commitment to transform the island's healthcare system as a top priority, with the goal of making Grenada the health capital of the Eastern Caribbean. Senator Lacrette says part of improving the sector involves developing the customer service care of healthcare workers, which will improve the service provided for patients.
Our training budget as a health sector is definitely going to be a huge one for 2024 because we desire to do training across the entire sector. So ambulance drivers, orderlies, housekeeping staff, nurses, doctors, district medical officers, etc. Across the entire health spectrum, we will see even the administrators at the complex itself. They have already been engaged in leadership and management training this year at least twice with various cohorts of persons across the health sector in the leadership and management positions. So I'm excited about the training agenda. I'm also excited about developing the HR capacity of the entire sector. Currently, we have 339 staff nurses, 177 nursing assistants, and we definitely have to see how we can bring those nursing assistants up to BSN level, because a number of them, they have expressed a desire to move up academically to the BSN level. And with that being said, there's going to be a gap for nursing assistants, so you don't have to train a new cadre of nursing assistants or healthcare assistants, as they are called in other quarters of the world. So there is a plan to do so, whether we have to offer scholarships to them, full-out scholarships to them. We definitely will have to take a bold step financially as a government to say, you know what, this is a need, this is where the hemorrhaging is taking place, and as a result we are investing in Grenada's future, rebuilding back the nursing stock of the country.
Other plans of the government include the commencement of hemodialysis and peritoneal dialysis services at the General Hospital, the enhancement of primary health care through the launch of primary health care teams, and the upgrading of several health centers and medical stations. There will also be the signing of a memorandum of understanding with the McKinney Foundation to promote women's health and to provide free gynecological and urological health care treatments and services to women in Grenada. Minister for Climate Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy, Honorable Karine James, and the Honorable Tevin Andrews, Minister for Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs and Local Government, are pleased with the progress of work on the renewable energy project at the Limler Solar Field. Earlier this week, the ministers were given a tour by engineers to update them on the project, which started in 2018. It is aimed at phasing out the island's heavy reliance on diesel consumption, transitioning to renewable energy. Minister James explained following the throne speech on Tuesday that the Limler project is part of Grenada's local and regional mandate to lead by example in reducing its carbon footprints.
We have looked at quite a number of different alternative energy forms. We have solar, we have wave, we have engaged wave energy, as well as ocean and geothermal energy as well. We have a project currently ongoing in Carriacou. It started in 2018. We only saw advancement on the ground, and when I speak about us having projects but not being able to implement and fulfill the projects. So it's well over 6 years, and I'm happy to announce that the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique will be our pilot baby for our solar energy interventions that we want to undergo as a government. That solar PV site in Limler is aiming to phase out 600 kilowatts of our diesel consumption in Carriacou. So it's a big deal. And what we want to do is, Carriacou and Petit Martinique is unique in a sense that it is not heavily populated. So we have an opportunity, just as other small islands did in the past, like St. Eustatius and among others. We want to make Carriacou and Petit Martinique 100% renewable.
She commended the dedication and expertise of the teams involved on the Limler project, emphasizing the critical role it will play in enhancing the nation's resilience to climate change and promoting renewable energy adoption. Minister Andrews also stressed the importance of the project for the local community, saying it not only promotes environmental sustainability, but also promises economic growth and job opportunities for residents of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. We are dedicated to ensuring that our local communities benefit from this venture, unquote. Meanwhile, Minister James highlighted a second project that government will soon implement in collaboration with Grenlick to establish a 21-megawatt solar PV project at 4 sites across Grenada.
We are currently in the negotiation and the study phase of seeing if it's feasible, ensuring that we de-risk some of these projects that we want to undergo. So we are aiming at that. So COP for us is, yes, we have to make the pronouncements. Yes, we have a duty as member states in AOSIS and other small island organizations to ensure that we lobby and the negotiations go our way to ensure that our climate finance structures are more robust and that it doesn't leave us in a worse off situation of not having proper access to grant as well as concessionary loans for projects that we need in order for us to survive. So we have our regional mandate, we have our local mandate, which is to diversify our energy sector, look at renewable energy as the alternative towards building our resilience, towards ensuring that our people are more environmentally conscious, and to ensure that our island is beautifully placed on the map to lead the way for renewables. Yeah.
Minister Karine James will be part of the delegation at the World Climate Summit COP28, which begins in late November in Dubai. We take another break. When we return, Maria Holder Memorial Trust makes significant investments in Grenada's health and education ministries.
Hello, I'm Emmanuel Duncan and I'm a small business owner. And as business people, we can get really busy at times. And we don't like to wait in lines. So what can you do about that? Well, one thing that I did differently this year is that I used the government online payment portal to pay my vehicle registration, my driver's license, my property tax, and you can pay for a whole lot more government services there. And as I prepare to file my corporate income tax and my annual stamp tax by March 31st, I'll be filing and paying using the online tax services platform. That's at taxservices.gov.gd. So, save time, pay online, and remember, in business, time is money.
Welcome back. A major advancement in the health and education sector following the donation of a state-of-the-art 128-slice GE CT scanner and other items to the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs and the Ministry of Education. 2 wheelchair-adaptable buses and 12 wheelchairs were presented to the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture. The donation comes from the Maria Holder Memorial Trust, a charity based in Barbados. The CT scanner donation is the result of conversations in 2019 between the Maria Holder team and the former Director of Hospital Services, Dr. Carol McIntosh. Since 2008, Maria Holder Memorial Trust has contributed to more than 20 projects in Grenada worth $14 million. Donna Clark, project manager of the Maria Holder Memorial Trust, said the CT scanner will support a wide range of medical specialties. She described some of its distinctive features during a handover ceremony on Tuesday.
I'm sure that the CT scanner will be of immense benefit to the General Hospital and people of Grenada. Additionally, today, we will also be handing over 2 wheelchair adaptable buses and 12 wheelchairs to the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture, which was also identified and requested as one of the priorities of the ministry. The CT scanner will open accessibility to those with limited or no resources, provide immediate diagnosis of emergency cases that present to the General Hospital, including patients with trauma, stroke, deep vein thrombosis, acute coronary syndrome, neonates and pediatric emergencies, allow for the advancement in oncology cases and the development of the stroke unit and interventional cardiology services.
Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell spoke passionately about Maria Holder's donation.
This timely gift here today underscores our government's commitment to working with our partners to prioritize healthcare and wellness in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. The generous donations by the Maria Holder Foundation Memorial Trust enables us to expand our reach here at the General Hospital to touch more lives and to create lasting improvements for Grenadians. We know that your contributions will continue to allow our doctors, our nurses, and our other medical practitioners to make significant strides in improving our healthcare system and to realize a more tangible improvement.
Minister for Health, Honorable Jonathan Lacrette, said the CT scanner takes Grenada higher in providing modern health care.
The introduction, the embracing of this CT scan came at an opportune time because it forms part of the modernization process from a technological perspective. So we are extremely happy. And from an SDG3 perspective, good health and well-being, it is going to augur well.
Recalling previous investments that the Maria Holder Trust Fund has made to Grenada, Minister for Education, Senator the Honorable David Andrew, said the wheelchair-adaptable buses will be beneficial to students with special needs.
We are very delighted that you have been able to gift us these wheelchair-adaptable buses and the motorized wheelchairs as well as the manual ones to assist with the mobility of our special needs population. Not only were we gifted with those things, but we were gifted with funding to train our operators and caregivers, the bus drivers, to be able to adequately treat with the nation's children.
At Radisson Grenada Beach Resort this week, 13 young men and women have received grants of up to US $30,000 to implement innovative agribusiness and agro-processing projects as part of the Climate Resilient Agriculture Blue-Green Digital Innovation Challenge. The presentations were made during a ceremony at the Radisson Grenada Beach Resort. The initiative is aimed at stimulating economic growth, boosting productivity, and addressing the challenges of climate change in Grenada's agricultural sector. Details in this report.
We would have a jingle, we would do our website, we would set up our digital marketing management platform, which is internal management system. We would go digital on that. We would be going into getting our equipments for pasteurization and freeze drying and all of that, and enhancing our fruity moss factory.
We are proposing a farm management and financial connectivity platform. Farmers need support in terms of managing their farms, proper record keeping, proper financial records, to be able to attract investors and track banks' attention, to be able to access opportunities. So this platform provides that opportunity for them as well.
We're revitalizing spice and we're blending spice with CMOS. This company have an online platform where we sell our products internationally, and we're already trading products throughout over 10 countries internationally. And the money would be used for further development of products, packaging, and worldwide distribution, and local enhancement of our product, which is spice and CMOS basically.
We're offering fully biodegradable ingredients and biodegradable packaging that we're hoping by 2030, based on the Sustainable Development Agenda, by 2030 we should see a reduction in municipal waste, household waste, by hopefully 35 to 45%.
These were grant recipients revealing the purpose of their projects and outlining the direction they plan to pursue. The grants, awarded at the conclusion of the third call for proposals, were supported internally by the UNDP Accelerator Lab for the Blue Economy. They also introduced essential elements to enhance the quality and practicality of grant proposals for this initiative. Applicants were required to articulate a clear problem to be tackled and provide a general concept of a potential solution. They were connected with digital innovators and IT professionals to help them refine and establish diverse solutions to address these issues. An online innovation seminar was conducted to showcase various ideas for innovative solutions that businesses could explore. Subsequently, a pitch session allowed applicants to present their proposals effectively and respond to questions for further clarification. Senator the Honorable Adrian Thomas, Minister for Agriculture and Lands, Fisheries and Cooperatives, emphasized that this challenge represents a groundbreaking opportunity for Grenada's agriculture and digital sectors as it aligns perfectly with the government's transformation agenda, which aims to promote agro-processing and establish connections between agriculture and digital platforms.
My government is determined to ensure that our people are not left behind in the creation and advancement of digital economies. It is our stated intention to train our citizens to function and strive in digital economies by promoting the use of computing technologies to conduct businesses in global marketplaces. The work is not completed, but I look forward to being able to follow your innovations and in the next 6 months to 1 year, see the fruits of your labor.
A total sum of US $360,000 is being invested in this initiative through a collaborative effort between the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. UNDP Resident Representative Limia Eltaya highlighted that this initiative exemplifies innovative solutions emerging from the communities.
They come from the community. And that, for me, is the core of why I'm pleased today. It's an approach that believes that communities themselves understand their problems and can be part of the solution and can be part of a story of transformation. I don't take these entrepreneurs that we're awarding today lightly because hopefully they will come up with solutions, new digital solutions to the new digital era that we're in today so that we can do things differently. And hopefully these solutions will be replicated and taken over by others, not only in Grenada, but in other countries.
FAO's value chain expert and coordinator, Vermeeren Extavor, praised the project's recipients and urged them to prioritize market access throughout their endeavors.
As you build out your proposals and you move to make them come alive, that remember your space as an entrepreneur, to work on a market-driven approach that would see your solution really enhancing market access and enhancing the services you provide to the consumers, because these are the marketers who keep your innovative ideas sustainable.
We take our final break. When we come back, another group of directors of statutory boards receive training.
Containers of water where we can lay our eggs. Close to your house, we love to suck your blood and bite your legs. We don't live in swamps or rivers, we live in your house day and night. We'll give you dengue fever when we give you a great big bite. We hate it when you spray, it's insect repellent we fear. Throw out that water, we're out of here.
Welcome back. The third cohort of statutory bodies were presented with their certificates earlier this week following the completion of a 3-day training in keeping with government's mandate to ensure they are qualified and knowledgeable. This breaks the tradition of having unqualified individuals secure critical positions in society, thus negatively affecting efficiency and productivity. The Director's Educational and Accreditation training course facilitated by the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange and the Chartered Governance Institute Canada will be delivered to all statutory bodies focusing on the strategic areas of governance for directors, finance for directors, and strategy and risk management. Minister for Finance, Honorable Dennis Cornwall, who said the training improves the performance of the various statutory bodies, outlined some of government's expectations.
Now that you are trained and certified, you need to lead from the front in improving the overall performance of the bodies on which you serve. The government will continue to do its part. I've already started my engagement with statutory bodies and state-owned enterprise to ensure, among other things, alignment of operations with the government agenda and to roll out many expectations as Minister of Finance. While this even is not for speeches, I must take this opportunity to stress the following as we expect our directors. 1, your fiduciary responsibilities. As directors, honesty and good faith is something that we all have to be part of. And directors are in honest and in good faith with the view towards the best interests of their respective enterprises. The enterprises code of businesses conduct and provide detailed requirements to help directors understand how to manage any conflict of interest.
Deputy Chair of the Integrity Commission, Ronald Peters, commends government on the move to educate and train directors. However, he said the training must be continuous to promote development and prosperity.
Directors must be knowledgeable of the legislation creating the statutory body. As a board, you should proactively engage with your line minister periodically. Okay. Your director's education should not end here. Yeah? The content of the modules you have been exposed to during the 3 days should be seen as a platform to build on. Okay? I would also encourage you to expand your knowledge by reading and sharing with other experienced directors. Of course, without violating the principle of confidentiality. In this context, the initiative to establish an association of accredited directors is commendable. Such an association would bring together directors in all areas of the public sector, and the ensuing interaction among peers would amount to continuing professional development. This would be even more so if it fosters engagement regionally among directors.
Chairman of the Citizenship by Investment Committee, Mr. Richard Duncan, reminded the newly certified directors to be guided by the lessons of the training in order to remain readily equipped for the job.
As statutory bodies, you are halfway between central government typical bureaucracy and the ultimate private sector cooperation. In fact, some of these entities have the word cooperation in the name. They have limited in the name. Like Grenlec Limited Liability Company, though it is now majority owned by the state, and the directors are elected by the shareholders who are principally the government, NIS, and maybe one or two other people. So having said that, I think we must appreciate the importance and the criticality of directors in leading these entities. We made the point earlier, you control almost, in terms of total assets, about 75% of GDP. So it is not to be taken lightly. Some of you are first-time directors, and therefore the training is extremely important. Some of you are practicing as directors before, but without the tools and the training required. And therefore, we want to bring an end to the notion that directorship is just a political favor. And no. You are called upon to run these entities at a high professional level, and the law supports you as far as what you need to do as directors, and the training is going to help you to fulfill that.
A brief media launch was held on Tuesday at the Grenada Football Association's conference room, introducing Grenada Limited under the Star Malls brand as a new sponsor partner for this year's tournament. The secondary schools football tournament, which has been in existence for more than 60 years, gave most of Grenada's national and seasoned footballers their start during their secondary school years. The tournament returned last year after a hiatus due to the COVID-19 without a sponsor on board. However, the young footballers came out eager to participate in an exciting and successful tournament with funding from the government of Grenada and the National Lotteries Authority. Coordinator of Sports, Caroline Peters, said with Starmouth coming on board, this will bring some more excitement to the tournament, and the ministry hopes for a long-lasting relationship with the company.
I must say I'm very excited this morning. I'm happy of that partnership that we are prepared. I want to say prepared to develop, but I admit that partnership is one that was in making for a while. And we want to say thanks to the Carriacou breweries, to the Brown, Star Malt, for the initiative of combining or collaborating with the Ministry of Sports and Education to help to promote and to excel in the sense of football for this year secondary school football competition.
Technical Director of GFA, Gifton Noel Williams, looks forward to an interesting tournament this year.
I believe that the quality that I saw, I've been around a couple of schools and they've had their in-school tournaments, and the quality that I saw there with the in-school tournaments, I was quite excited that when the schools actually put their players together, it's going to be a really interesting tournament this year.
Marketing Manager of Partygrenada Limited, Ronique Marshall, said this is the beginning of a great partnership.
We are definitely excited to partner with, and I'm going to say partner. I know people say sponsor, but I believe this is a beginning. This is the beginning of truly a great partnership. As a company, Partygrenada Limited has always been interested in being part of school football. And the opportunity arose, and we thought, you know, we're not going to let this pass, because it's not just about our malt, it's not just about our company, but it's about the development of our youths. We normally hear people speak about academics, but I don't think they realize how important having a sport or being part of a sport while growing up in school, you know, allows you to develop yourself rounded and make sure that you're developed. As a kid, I remember actually, you know, going to school, being part of many sports, running, football, volleyball, and, you know, they always be like, oh, you know, you're hot-headed, you're going, you're always going. But this has allowed me, you know, being part of sports has allowed me to be the person I am today.
Senior coach in the Ministry of Sports, Jake Rennie, outlined how the tournament will run this year.
For the U15 boys, you cannot be taking 15 in the year of the competition, which means should be born 2009 and up. This year we have 15. This year we have 17 teams taking part. Now this competition format will divide into two groups. We have Zone A and Zone B. The competition format for all the categories will be the same. They will divide it into two groups. The top 4 from each group will enter the quarterfinals.
And finally, the Cameroon Folk Festival returns with a launch at the Sautez bus terminus on Saturday, September 29th from 8 p.m. It will offer a taste of what is to come in the 3-day festival to be held in December. Prior to the official start, there will be a parade of traditional mass on the street of Sautez. Performances are expected from the Privileged Theatre from Chantemelle, the National Folk Group, reigning National Calypso Monarch Rootsman Kelly, the reigning Independence Calypso Monarch Nivian Cox, as well as Looney Spark and Electrify and Lil Jello. This ends the government week in review for the week ending September 29th, 2023. I am Chris and Mitchell. Thank you.